So, the rigid compound miter saw, very important safety step, the first one you should always take with your saw before you make any adjustments. Unplug that puppy. You don't want to be in the middle of adjusting something, have the saw accidentally turn on and accidentally take off one of your limbs. This is a compound miter saw, which means that it adjusts in two directions. Pull this pin out. If it resists, bounce the saw up and down to relieve pressure on the pin. Once the pin is out, you just pull that out and the saw comes up. Second adjustment, in this plane, two adjustments. This, loosen, and push this down. There's a little stop underneath that stops at each one of these darker markings. So we're going to move over to 15 degrees, release this, and it locks in place. But a good idea to tighten this knob so that it's secure. But it also, the compound feature, with this knob in the back releasing, and that allows the saw to tip. There's an indicator and rough indication of the angle of the cut, all the way down to 45 degrees. When you have played with these adjustments, always make sure that you tighten the knobs again. Because if they're not tight, in the middle of cutting something that you think you're going to get a 90-degree cut on, you might get 91 degrees, or you might get 90 degrees and a tip to it, and that won't be good. Now, on the table of the saw, there are red lines on both sides. These are caution. Don't put your hand inside the red line, because this piece of action is very unforgiving. Here's your 2x4. We're keeping our hand outside the red line. We're bringing the saw blade down to check and see that it lines up with our marked line. One of the safety features of the saw is this on-off switch. You have to grasp that switch before the saw will turn on. So this hand is safe. This hand, not so much. You have to be very careful that you don't get anxious if you're cutting several cuts on the same board, that you don't accidentally slide your hand into the blade, because the blade won't care. It'll cut you just as easily as it cuts this 2x4, maybe even easier. So if you have a short board that is too short for you to hold on outside the line, the best thing to do is put a clamp here to hold it down. That way you can keep your hands away from the teeth of the saw.